Very good morning, students. Welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 11th science biology, and we are going to see the next topics of chapter number 7, that is the structural organization in animals. Today, in the previous lectures, we have already completed about the different types of tissues, their function, their location, and their characteristic features, right? Here, now we today or from this lecture, we are going to see about the three different types of animals. That is, the first is earthworm, second is the cockroach, and the third is the frog. First, we will see about the earthworm. If you wish to check my previous videos of this chapter, then you can check my YouTube channel for it. So now let's talk about today's lecture, and that is about the earthworm. The first animal which is being studied in this chapter, and that is the earthworm. So earthworms are reddish brown in color, right? So they are having a reddish brown color body. They are invertebrate. That means they do not possess the bones, right? That means they are invertebrate. They are terrestrial. That means they live on land. Their habitats are they are present on the upper layer of moist soil. Moist soil, that means the soil which is containing the moisture, right? That means they are not, that is not dry soil, that are comparatively the moist soil. That means it is containing a moisture content. For this reason, they are said to be the moist soil, right? So here the earthworm lives in the upper layer of the moist soil, right? During the daytime, they live in the burrows, right? So they, during daytime, when the sun is there, at that time they live in the burrows by boring and swallowing. So through their food, the earthworm, they eat soil, right? So from the soil only they get all the nutrients and everything, right? So in the daytime, what they do is they live in the burrows. They form tunnel like structures, that those are known as burrows, and they form these burrows by boring it and swallowing it, right? Next are the worm casting in gardens, right? The earthworms are traced by the fecal deposits, right? Now you can see that in the gardens the worm castings are also there. That means the garden care which is needed to take place, right? So this garden worm castings, right, which is taking place, in that the earthworms, they can be traced by their fecal deposits. That means whatever they release out as a fecal material from their body, through the use or through the knowing or through that tracing that where exactly a fecal deposit is, at nearby to that region the earthworms would be present, right? The common name of earthworm is Ferritima and lubricus, right? So this can be asked in MCQ, that what is the common name of the earthworm, right? So this is Ferritima and lubricus. Now first we are going to see about the morphology of the earthworm. So first is the earthworms are long cylindrical body, right? So the earthworm are comparatively long, and they do possess what? A cylindrical body. That means they are circular. The body is cylindrical in shape, right? Next is the body is divided into segments, right? We have seen in the chapter number 4 about this, that there is presence of the metamerism, right? The process is known as metamerism, where what happens, the particular body is divided into segments, right? And that is known as what? The metamers. So here in the earthworm, there is presence of 100 to 120 segments in its body. So none another, the body of the earthworm is made up of 100 to 120 segments, right? Next is a mid-dorsal line is present on the dorsal side along the longitudinal axis. Now, the dorsal side, that means the upper portion, and the ventral side, that means the lower portion. So on the upper portion, there will be a presence of a mid-dorsal line. Mid-dorsal line, that means mid, that means in the middle. Dorsal, that means as it is present on the dorsal side, and a line, that is a presence of a vein or artery is being carried out. For this reason, it is known as mid-dorsal line. So this mid-dorsal line is present on the dorsal side along the longitudinal axis. Longitudinal axis, that means in the horizontal axis, right? Next is the genital openings, that is pores, are present on the ventral side. Now the genital openings, that are the openings or the pores which are going to release out or accept the gametes, right? So those are said to be genitals, right? So that genital openings, they are present on the ventral side. On the dorsal side, there will be presence of the mid dorsal line, and on the ventral side, there will be the presence of the genital openings, right? Next is the mouth is present at the anterior part. Anterior, that means at the front. Posterior, that means at the back. So the mouth is present anteriorly, that means the starting of the earthworm. At that portion, there will be the presence of the mouth. Prostomium covers the mouth and have sensory function. There will be presence of a cover-like structure on the mouth, which is known as prostomium, right? And this prostomium, its function is the sensory function. That means it is responsible for sensing the different types of environmental conditions. Next is prostomium, that is the first body segment. Now after the mouth, whatever the first segment comes, the first segment which is coming or which is present after the mouth, that is known as prostomium. Prostomium, don't get confused between the prostomium and prostomium. Prostomium is the covering of the mouth and have sensory function, and prostomium is the first body segment. Next is there is presence of clitellum. This clitellum, these are the segments in the mature worm which is covered by a dark band of glandular tissue which is known as clitellum, right? Now here when we are talking about clitellum, in this there will be the presence, the segments. This clitellum contains several segments, and this all the segments are present in the mature worm. And this particular portion or this segments, 3 to 4 segments, right, they are covered by a dark band of the glandular tissue. Glandular tissue means they are going for the function of releasing the secretion, right? Or glands, they are glands, that means they are going to pour their secretion inside the body. So this clitellum segments, that means there will be the presence, this clitellum will be present into 4 to 16 segments. So 14, 15 and 16, these 3 segments collectively, they in the mature worm, what happens, this 3 segments is having dark band, right? And this band is made up of the glandular tissue, and as it is comparatively different than the other body segments, for this reason there is the name which is given to them is the clitellum, right? 14 to 16 segments are coming under the clitellum. Now the body of the earthworm is divided into 3 regions, right? So there are 3 regions. The first is pre-clitellar, second is clitellar, and the third is post-clitellar. Now let's take clitellum as the main. The portions or the segments which are coming before the clitellum, that is known as the pre-clitellar, right? The clitellar, that means the clitellum region, and the third, that is post-clitellar, that means all the segments which are coming after the clitellum. So these are the 3 main regions of the body part or body of the earthworm. Now there is presence of spermathecal apparatus which are present in 4 pairs on the ventral side. Ventrolateral side. Ventrolateral means ventral as well as on the lateral. Ventral, that means on the lower side, and lateral, that means it will be present on the sides. It will be not present in the middle, right? They are present in the sides. Next, now this spermathecal apertures. Spermathecal, that means there will be the ones or the genital pores which are responsible for producing the sperms and releasing the sperms from those pores, right? So that is spermatical apertures. They are present in 4 pairs. That means there will be presence of 4 pairs. 4 pairs, that means in 1 pair, 2 spermatheca will be present, right? So same way there will be presence of 4 pairs of these spermatical apertures. So there will be totally 16 spermatical apertures would be present. So 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? Till 8, 5 to 9, in between 5 to 9, these spermatical apertures are present. Next is the female genital pore, which is singly present in the mid-ventral line. That is in the 14th segment. In the 14th segment, there will be
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
pore, and that is the female genital pore, right? And this female genital pore, it is singly present in the mid-ventral line. Mid-ventral, that was mid-dorsal line. Here it is mid-ventral line. That means this female genital pore is present on the downward downside, right? And it is present in the middle line, on the middle line. For this reason it is known as midventral line. And this female genital pore is present in the 14th segment, right? Next is the pair of male genital pore are present on ventrolateral sides on the 18th segment. So we saw about this, right? There is these apertures are for the release of the sperms, right? And these are the pair of genital pores, right, that are present on the ventrolateral side in the 18th segment. These are responsible for the formation of the sperms and receiving the spermatical apertures. See, these are the ones which are going to receive as well as release the sperms, right? Here you can see these are the pair of genital pores which are going to produce the sperms in. Next is the nephridiophores. This nephridiophores are the minute pores on the body. This nephridiophores, right, there is presence of the minute pore-like structures on the body of the earthworm which are known as nephridiophores, right? There is also presence of seta in rows and it is S shaped, right? There will be presence of seta, right? And they are present in rows, right? And the shape of this seta is S shape. Then they are present in the middle of the segment except first, last and clitorium. So theta will not be present in the first segment, in the last segment, and in the clitorium region, right? So these are the three regions where the theta will be not present, right? The function of this theta is locomotion. You might have heard this word for the first time, right? They are not exactly legs, right? This theta are small hair-like structures, right? They are very minute, which we cannot even visualize through our naked eyes, right? So this theta are present in rows, right? You might have seen when the rainy season comes, there are so many worms which are coming which have so many legs, but they are naked legs, right? But the earthworm, the seta are not.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
Okay, there is presence of female genital pore, which is singly present on the midventral line that is observed in the 14th segment, right? So the female genital pore is singly present. That means only they are present in a single form and they are present on the midventral line, that is ventral portion that is on the downward side, and as it is present in the middle portion, for this reason it is known as midventral line. This female genital pore is present in the 14th segment. Next is the pair of genital pores, right? That means this particular male genital pores, right, they are also going to present in the pairs only, and they are present on the ventrolateral sides. But here, see, the two here, the spermatical apertures are also there and pair of genital pores are also there. This pair of genital pores are responsible for the production of the sperms as well as the release, and this spermatical apertures are going to receive the different types or the sperms from the another earthworm, right? So this pair of genital pores are present in the 18th segment. There is also presence of the nephridiophores, which are minute pores on the body. So there will be presence of small hole-like structure or pores on the body of the earthworm, which are known as the nephridiophores. There is also presence of seta, and this seta is present in rows, and the shape of is S-shaped, right? And this seta are present in the middle of the segment, right? So you cannot observe normally what when the rainy season comes, what happen, you have seen those worms which are walking around, right? So those worms, the legs are visible, but here in the earthworm you are not able to see the uh, legs. They are not exactly legs, but there is presence of a leg like structure or a hair like structures which are responsible for providing the locomotion to the earthworm. It is helpful in locomoting from one place to another. So seta are present on the in the middle of the segment, but there is an exception that in the first, last and clitellum region there will be no presence of the seta. The function of the seta is to do the locomotion, right? So this is about the morphology of the earthworm, right? That means if it is asked that write the morphology of the earthworm, then you have to mention all these points. The next topic is about the anatomy of the earthworm, right? So in the anatomy portion, what you are going to see is the anatomy. That means the study of the internal structure of the earthworm, right? So the first is there will be presence of cuticle, that is the outer covering of the body wall, which is thin and non-cellular, right? So cuticle, first of all, non-cellular, that means it is not made up of cells. And cuticle, as we have seen in plants also, there is presence of a cuticle layer, right? Same way in earthworm also there is presence of a outer covering of the body, and which is comparatively very thin, and it is not possessing any of the cells. That layer is known as cuticle, right? Next is the epidermis, which is made up of two muscle layers, and first is circular, second is longitudinal. So the inner, the first layer is the cuticle, after that the epidermis is there. This epidermis is made up of two muscle layers, the first is circular and second is longitudinal. Then in the innermost part, coulommic epithelium is present, right? So in the innermost part, what will be present? The coulommic epithelium is present, right? That is coulommic, that means it possesses the column, and around that there will be presence of the epithelial cell. For this reason, it is known as coulommic epithelium. The epidermis is made up of columnar epithelial cells which have secretory gland cells, right? As columnar epithelial cells, as they are present in columns. For this reason, this epidermis layer is differentiated into columnar epithelial cells, and the function of it has the secretory, it do possess this columnar cells, they do possess the secretory gland cells. So again they are going for the functioning of the secretion of the different types of, from the different types of glands. So this is about the first anatomy portion. Now we are going to see several systems which are working in the earthworm. The first is the digestive system of earthworm, right? So the alimentary canal of earthworm is made up of first mouth, pharynx, esophagus, gizzard, stomach, intestine, and the anus, right? So here what happens, the particular digestive system of the earthworm, this do contains what? The mouth, then the pharynx, that is the second region. After that, the esophagus is there. Then the gizzard is there. Then stomach, intestine, and the last anus, which is the release out of the waste materials, right? So now the alimentary canal, right? So the alimentary canal is present between the first and last segment. So throughout the whole earthworm's body, the first, right, from it is present, so it starts with the first segment and it ends in the last segment. So throughout the all the segments there will be presence of the digestive system, right? And the digestive system or the alimentary canal in the earthworm is a straight tube like structure. Okay, next is, now we'll see the all this we will see all this organs, right, in detail, that what exactly the function of them. First is the mouth. There is presence of terminal mouth. Terminal mouth means there will be the presence of mouth which is going to be present at the terminal part, right? And it opens into the buccal cavity, right? So first of all, the mouth is responsible for intaking the food particles, right? And they are sent, and it opens, this mouth opens into the buccal cavity. The second region comes, that is the pharynx. This pharynx is muscular pharynx, and it is made up of muscles. This pharynx is, as it is made up of muscles, for this reason this pharynx is known as the muscular pharynx. So once the food is intaken inside, right, so first it passes to the pharynx region. After the pharynx region, the next region which comes is the esophagus. The esophagus is a small narrow tube which is responsible, or which functions for passing the food particles from the pharynx to the gizzard, right? Next is, after the esophagus, the gizzard is present. Now see, just as the earthworm does not contain the teeth, right, just like we have, right? So their particular food particle which they have inhaled or intaken, that needs to be grinded, right? So after the esophagus there will be presence of a organ which is known as gizzard, and this gizzard is present or it is functioning as the grind for the grinding of soil particles and decaying leaves. So whatever the earthworm eats, right, in the gizzard, the grinding of that soil particles and the decaying leaves take place. So the grinding takes or the tear up and the grinding of the soil particles and the whatever the food which is intaken, that is going to occur in the gizzard portion. Next is stomach. It have a specialized calciferous gland which is present, and this gland neutralizes humic acid which is present in humans, right? So humans, right? So there will be in the stomach, what is there? There is a present the stomach of the earthworm. It contains a specialized gland which is known as calciferous gland, and the function of this gland is to neutralize the humic acid which is present in the humus, right? Here it is not humans, here it will be humus, right? So humus, normally humus is made up of dead plants and leaves. So whatever the leaves are fallen down on the land, at that portion they are said to be humus, right? So all the dead plants and leaves which are there, and when the earthworm eats that, that is humus, right? And this humus contains a humic acid. But as this humic acid can be more acidic in nature, for this reason in the stomach of the earthworm, what the calciferous gland is present which have the ability to neutralize the humic acid which is present in the humus, right? Next is the intestine, right? So in the intestine there is presence of typhlosol, right? The intestine contain a typhlosol which, and it is internal medium fold of dorsal wall, and the function of it to increase the area of absorption, like just like we have the microvilli in our humans intestine, small intestine, right? So there is presence of those microvilli in the small intestine in order to increase the area for the absorption. Same way in the animals, that is in the earthworm, there is presence of typhlosol which is a internal median fold, that is halfly it is folded in the dorsal wall, right? And internally it is folded, and as it is movable, for this reason it increases the area for absorption, right? There is also present of intestinal cecum which is present in pairs. They are short and conical in shape, right? They are just small bulges like structures which are coming from this the digestive system, and as they are present in the intestinal region, for this reason it is known as intestinal cecum. They are present in pair, that means they are present on the both the sides. They are comparatively short and they are conical in shape, so they are cone like in shape. The lymph gland is present in the 26 to 28 segments. So this can be asked in MCQ, that where in which segments in earthworm there is presence of lymph gland. So that is in the 26 to 28 segments there will be the presence of the lymph gland. Next is the anus, right? So the last portion, that is the anus, that opens exteriorly by a small round aperture. So the anus in earthworms, they are opening in a small round aperture at the exterior. At anterior, that is on the front, it was present as the mouth, right? So there was presence of mouth on the anterior side, and here at the last end, at that is exteriorly, the whole like structure is present which is known as anus, and it opens exteriorly, right? Now as the earthworm ingests soil as food, the breakdown of complex food to simple absorbable forms is carried out by several digestive enzymes, right? Same way, just as ours only, the earthworm eats soil as food. Now the soil contains so many complex substances, right? So the breakdown of the complex substances into simpler absorbable forms is being carried out or is being done by the action of the several digestive enzymes, right? So the earthworm is also containing several digestive enzymes which are going to digest the soil, that is the food as soil, right? Next and the last point is these absorbable forms are absorbed through the internal membranes. So the through internal membranes of the earthworm's body, that is the digestive system, the nutrients or the whatever nutrition is been derived from the food which it has intaken, that is been absorbed by the internal membranes. So this is all about the first type of system, and that is the digestive system of earthworm, right? So here we complete today's lecture, and I hope you are very clear with today's topic, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.